This is Laurie Mulvey. She is the co-founder and an executive director at World in Conversation. She's the visionary behind World in Conversation. She's the visionary actually behind all of the all of the conversations in this class, and the visionary behind many of the things that happen that get talked about in this class, and a co-collaborator with me for 35 years. And in fact, without ever having taken a sociology class, she taught me the most important idea about what sociology is back when I was probably 31.
Really, that old?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Anyway, this is Laurie Mulvey. So
Hi, everybody.
We're also married. So.
Yes.
Dude,
if you can believe it.
Dude, nothing else about you matters.
Yeah, exactly.
Except the fact that you as a woman, you figured out how to get married. See that?
Yes. Well, you know. It's actually something about you. They're like, oh, you're married to him?
Yeah.
Okay.
This guy?
Okay. So what are we doing?
Well, why don't you start by saying, like, contextualizing. Can you go to the next slide?
Okay.
Contextualizing this.
Beauty.
Before we introduce folks.
Beauty, a social fact. I don't know. First of all, is Debbie here by any chance? Sorry to call you out if you are, but
she's at the very top.
Is she? Debbie, this is all for you. Debbie Guerrero is a staff member at World in Conversation, and she really cares about this topic and has pointed out to us how hidden it is, even though it's a social fact. And I know we all know this, but when we thought about this, I had to bring Debbie in and have her here. So Debbie, you might also have to say some things today. Anyhow, this class is all about social facts, right? And so beauty is just one of the many things to look at. And so what happens in this class is you look at different things that are influenced by society, by culture, by ethnicity, et cetera, right? So things that the social world shapes, like health and wealth, relationship to police, class, all kinds of things that are not just divinely inspired, we don't think, but are socially structured or influenced by society. That shouldn't be a surprise when we say the word beauty. So we're gonna, even though there may be, Sam, I'm gonna say this, he didn't want me to say it. There may be some things that are universal about beauty, that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
But we also know there's lots of aspects that are socially constructed. And so we're going to focus on the social construction today. Is that fair?
Yep.
To say?
Yep.
It doesn't mean you can't say anything about any other parts of beauty, but that's what we're going to focus on.
But we're not talking about attraction, okay? Beauty, okay? So really stay in that. And we're talking about beauty, like human beauty, like what we see, not aesthetic beauty, art and so
I don't
on.
know. I think beauty is the topic.
Okay.
And I think the idea is sometimes we can learn things by looking at non-human things, in this case anyway.
Yep.
So anyway, the point is it's an exploration, and just like everything else in Social 119 or sociology or human-related classes, we know that there are a lot of feelings and experiences that go along with this topic that aren't positive. And so we just want to say that to start out with, that we have this conversation and this exploration in a public space, knowing that it's delicate, just like all the other conversations that you have in here. So we just want to acknowledge that, and there is definitely room for that today. So where do you want?
I think the thing to do right now would be to introduce the folks up here, and just introduce yourselves, and I'll say something about you.
Okay, cool. Hi, I'm Jasmine. I'm a senior English major, and I'm from Pittsburgh.
And Jasmine applied to be a volunteer, and what really we thought Jasmine would be really good for today, because you're outside the box, right? You seem like you swim at your own pace, going up and down the stream in the way that you feel like it. So you're all over the place in that sense, right? Okay, cool.
Hello, I'm Faisal. I'm from Saudi Arabia. I'm a junior. I study mechanical engineering.
And we selected Faisal because we had somebody, another student from an Emirati student who couldn't make it. And so I saw Faisal and said, dude, nice jacket. You're on, man. Yeah.
Wait,
Okay.
are you saying that Emirati and Saudi are somehow?
It's the same,
same?
you know, whatever. It's the same place, right, dude? Yeah, all the
Okay.
same.
I
It's
knew
a
you would
bunch
say
of
that.
buildings and sand and like, I don't know. You know what I mean?
You don't have to accept that, by the way.
Dude. Yeah, by the way, do I even have, I probably have to say this. When I make jokes like that about a country, you can assume that I've been to that country many times. You know what I mean? Like I'm like a Middle East person. I'm not gonna call myself an expert, but compared to probably most Americans, I would be a Middle East expert. So if I make a joke like that, yeah, you get it. All right, bro.
Hi everyone, my name is Aditya. I'm a second year student majoring in computer science and I'm from India. Yeah.
You are from India. And you identified in the form as queer non-binary.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Which is awesome for this conversation, really. It's just awesome, you know, because this is what we want to be. We want to come at this from lots of directions.
Hi, my name is Annalise. I am a sophomore studying hospitality management, and I'm from Montrose, Pennsylvania.
Montrose, Pennsylvania. So Annalise, right? And you identified as queer bisexual, right? Okay, which is awesome, yeah? You see, like, it's just like you just come at it in these different ways. All right, man.
Hi, my name is Yoon Jae, but I go by Jake. I'm a senior in aerospace engineering. I'm born in South Korea, Seoul, and grew up in Korea. I came to US since the college years, which is like 3 years ago, and yeah.
And you were up here the other day. You were up here on Tuesday, right? Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Okay, awesome. So Laurie, why don't you pose that first question that you have?
Well, can we first look at the definition?
Yeah, oh yeah.
We just want to point out what we're talking about. This is just what everybody does, you know, define beauty on Google, and this is what comes up first. There was nothing special or magic about that or scientific. This is just what comes up first. So a combination of qualities such as shape, color, or form that pleases the aesthetic senses, especially the sight. So that's what we're talking about today. Mostly visual, pleasing to our senses. What is our sense of beauty, okay? Also, I just want to note as a foreshadowing clue, definition 2 seems interesting.
Even definition 1, the example they give is, I was struck by her beauty.
Oh, I didn't even see
Yeah.
that.
So
Okay,
it's like
just
just
interesting.
constant focus right there. Beauty to the female form. in
And
some way.
we want to just, not just talking about women. Men, people who identify as men, obviously non as well. So we want to be really, really clear about that.
Okay, awesome, man.
So this is to anybody here who wants to start the conversation, okay? How do you know, you as an individual, right? So you don't have to speak for the universal, but how do you personally know when you're standing in the presence of beauty or when you're in the presence of beauty? Anybody can just jump in. Think about that for yourselves too. How do you know? What tells you?
For me, I'm kind of just like speechless almost. Because obviously I also think of beauty as not just like a person. Like anything can be beautiful, and I'm kind of just like, holy crap, like kind of like that.
When did that last happen? What were you seeing? What did it look like?
Probably my girlfriend when she was getting ready for recruitment.
Okay. so it seems you feel some kind of way about saying that out loud.
Yeah, I can say it out loud.
Okay, is she here?
Yeah,
Where is?
she's right there.
Where? Hi. Okay, so this is we're not going to look too closely at her at this moment, but what did you see? So what did you see that was beautiful? This is what we're trying to figure out.
I mean, to me, like her smile. I mean, like her makeup was done, but it was just like it like fit her face very well, and I just thought her eyes looked pretty, and like everything was just kind of like accentuated, and she just looked really pretty.
Okay, eyes, makeup, and it accentuated
Smile and- yeah.
smile. Oh yeah, smile. Smile was a big part. Okay, all right. So we're starting off.
And just like her energy also.
Her
like,
energy. What about her energy?
Like her energy, she was just excited to like. She was just very enthusiastic, excited to go into
Okay.
like recruitment and everything.
By the way, Sam and I, for sure, we're not looking for the answer, or we don't have the answer. We are just trying to see, crowdsource, what do we see when we see beauty, and just compare it and look at it, right? So that you know that feeling like, am I saying the right answer? We're definitely not looking for that. We just
Yeah.
want your answers.
And,
Okay.
and it's definitely one of these things that, well, I think it's really good. This is a really interesting conversation for this class, because it's one of these things that we think we know and we think we have an idea until we're actually asked to articulate it. And it's like, what do we see or what do we mean? And when as Laurie just asked these two really awesome follow-up questions to go a little deeper, but what is that? What does it look like? What do you see? You know, it's the kind of stuff that we don't, it's just not part of us until we're actually asked to articulate. Yeah.
Jasmine, can you jump in and answer that question about how do you know that you're in the presence of beauty?
I feel like whenever you're in whenever I'm in the presence of beauty, like you feel, I guess, like kind of calm, like a calming sense, I guess.
What are you seeing? Give us an example. We're always going to ask for an example.
Oh yeah.
When's the last time you saw beauty?
I guess at the beach. I mean, it's not a person, but like I feel like you could compare it to like something like an inanimate experience.
Okay.
Kind of like, you know, whenever you see something really like some pretty scenery or something.
Uh-huh.
But also like I watched The Bachelor with my roommate, and I feel like also like, you know, there's a lot of beautiful women like on the show and stuff, and you can just kind of see that like radiating through them even when like they're not speaking, versus like or like we were talking about the other day, like even women who, you know.
Oh, wait, can I just stop you
Oh,
for a
yeah,
second? I'm going to come closer to you because it feels weird to be way over there. So the person who I don't know who you're talking about, can you just describe what did you see, like what made her beautiful to your eyes?
Yeah, I guess like the way, like besides her physical features, like the way that she carried herself.
No, tell us about the physical features.
Oh.
Visual. Just stay there.
Yeah, like her eyes and everything, and just like the way that she like dressed and stuff, and like, you know, did her hair and everything like that. So might be kind of superficial, but
No, it's not superficial. We're talking about what we see, right? So eyes looked like what? Just, you know, keep this in mind. What kind of hair? What kind of eyes?
hair was kind of like slightly curled, and like her eyes were like, I guess like bright in a sense. And also just like her smile was just like, you know, kind of like a soft smile, and you could just kind of see that she was like a, like, for lack of a better word, like a happy person, I guess.
Oh.
So you can just kind of see her personality like through like how she like presented herself physically as well.
Okay.
No, keep going.
Can someone
I have lots of stuff,
Okay.
but
I want to hear from one more. Maybe Adi, maybe you could start just one more on this, like how you know, or what you see. Really, is what we're trying to get you to tell us.
Yeah, I actually had like a very similar answer to Jasmine's. I feel like when I'm in beauty, I feel beauty is a sense of feeling that I have. Like I get like usually the feeling is calm or happy. So yeah, like whenever I'm like covered with like calmness and like I feel very pleasant in the presence of beauty. So that's how I know I'm there. So like for example, the last time, was that your next question? I just assumed.
Say it again.
Was that your next question?
I
An
actually,
example? Okay.
I wanted to know if either of the images that you're thinking of, if they included wrinkles.
Oh, so the example I had in my head was not a person. It was the sky, before my birthday.
The
Like,
sky.
yeah, like the clouds. Like,
Think about a person. Because we're thinking like obviously, things that are not human are beautiful, right? We can use that as an analogy, but what about a human that you've seen is beautiful to you? Because this is what we want to learn about.
yeah, their personality, the charisma, like if they radiate positivity, they're automatically beautiful to me. If they're kind, they're compassionate, empathy, and if it's about their physical features.
Okay, I'm going to pause you for a
Yeah.
second because I feel like I
Yeah.
want to hear what some people are thinking in the class.
Yeah, could
Like,
you?
what are you hearing from so far what you've heard? Or what are you not hearing from what you've heard? It's kind of a weird question, but
in the
you have
meantime,
it,
though,
Mike?
yeah, Jake was going to say something.
Oh, you were?
And I'm wondering if you.
go ahead, Jay.
So I think I define beauty as three types of beauty, I think. So number one is about like biological beauty, which is like naturally people think like maybe for men, like more muscular men may like look attractive, like naturally, like biologically. And second one is like the one that's socially like defined it, like maybe like bigger, like larger eyes, smaller face, straight hair, I don't know, like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Third one is about like the personal identity, like the one that like only that person has. Like for example, someone who studied really a lot, maybe had to focus, like study or focus on one thing for a lot. Maybe they had like more like defined eyes, maybe. So that kind of shows the person's identity, and that is also kind of other part of the type of the beauty.
I'm glad you made those distinctions because we're really wanting to see from your perspectives or whoever else speaks in the class, what are the specific things that maybe are biological that you're I'm using that word that I said I didn't want to use, but that tells you that this person is beautiful to you. So just literally on what you're seeing. I know we've talked about, you started to talk about energy, radiance, all of that, but let's just stay for a second because this is the sociology part of just what are those physical features that to you or any of us are beautiful, unique to you.
To go to Faisal on this
Oh,
one
sorry.
before we open it up here.
Go ahead, Faisal.
Okay, so I feel like a beauty could be an inner beauty.
Hold the mic close, bro.
Say what it is to you.
To me,
Like, how do you know
okay.
when you're like, oh, that's beauty right there? And it could be a
Okay.
man, a person who's non-binary. It could be.
Okay. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I would say when I get the butterfly feelings in my stomach.
Okay.
That's when I know.
What do they look like?
Well, for me, 2 days ago, I was going to get a coffee from Dunkin' Donut.
Okay.
and-
Now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I saw this girl
It
who
was-
had
okay.
the beautiful blue eyes I've ever seen in my life. Her eyes just looked like the ocean, and I was like,
Oh, the
you have
ocean.
beautiful eyes, just because I was astonished.
You
and-
said that?
Yeah, of course I did. I feel like it's important to compliment a person.
Dude.
Okay.
I remember reading a tweet that some woman wrote about some creeper at Dunkin' Donuts. Maybe that was you. All right.
Okay, so I hear you saying something about the color and something was so stunning about those blue eyes.
Yeah.
Can you say any more that would describe? And then, but you're on the track.
Yeah, it's just that her eyes were really nice.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
That's just pretty much.
Okay, all right, cool. Does
Hey,
anybody want to, go ahead.
So, Laurie, I have
Where are
something
you,
here.
Oh, there you are.
Hey, y'all, make sure when you're talking, hold the mic really close to your mouth, okay? The thing that I'm struck by is that I haven't heard anything that is outside the box at all, right? Whether it's hair or makeup or whatever, it's like everything is just sort of outside the box. So for me as a sociologist, it tends to put me right into the center of what sociology is, right? That this is all social construction. That
Wait, what makes you say that?
well, because everything I'm hearing is just like I could just pull it right off of I don't know, just any mass media stuff, of TikTok or something. I don't know. Like, well, no, TikTok's a little different, but it's just what I've heard of the standard definitions, right? You just asked the wrinkles or something. Is there anything outside the box? It's like no. It's like so. It's
Well,
as though
what's
we
the-
all.
But what's the box we're talking?
The box
you're
is
hearing?
a certain image of what is the assumption of what beauty is, and we know it.
Wait, can we ask what you folks are hearing? Like, can you picture, okay, we got blue eyes as one characteristic, but can you picture anything about the beauty that is being described so far? Can anyone say what they're picturing besides blue eyes? Because that's one thing. Yeah, here.
So I would agree with blue eyes, and I think any color eyes are beautiful, but for me specifically, I think one thing that I would define as beautiful are scars and like a disease, I think it's pronounced vitiligo. I think that it's beautiful. I think that people who have it, they just like, I just think it's beautiful. And like scars, I think they represent like coming out of something that was really hard. Like I have scars on my arm, and it just like represents that I like was able to come out of something hard. So yeah.
I like that you said I have scars on my arms and I know what they mean, right? And so I actually appreciate the aesthetic beauty of that. What are some other things that you're hearing? Because hang on.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's like, you know, it just seems like, you know, we're very much in the box, you know?
So this is like physical, but it has to do with like a little bit more. So I feel like when it's just coming to like physical things, I don't really think that like it matters what they look like as long as they're like dressing to what makes them feel confident. Because like, I don't know, this is kind of personal opinion, but like people who have like really eccentric outfits, like that to me is more attractive. And like it doesn't matter like really anything else, because it's like it's just really interesting how they dress. So it's like it's interesting to look at. Like different hairstyles, like really eccentric things. I think that's also part of why people like high fashion and like Met Gala stuff. And like at that point, it's like it doesn't really matter who the celebrity is. It's like, oh, she looks gorgeous, or like he looks awesome, because it's just like it's interesting and like cool and different.
You know,
It sounds like you're talking about art.
so Laurie,
Wait. I'd like to show this one slide, but what
yeah, could you go, yeah, okay, we could, right?
can I'd like to show this slide.
Right. This is the only slide we have today.
Yeah,
by
that's
the
our
way.
only slide. Just saying.
Well, what is it?
What is missing from this slide in terms of beauty? What things that are beautiful are missing?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
No, some folks up here, like,
What's missing?
because what I'm hearing, so this is, and I want to say something, right, if I could.
Mm-hmm.
What Laurie said in the beginning, right? What we really try to do in this class is get us out of the boxes that just are the boxes that we're in and we don't even know that we're in, right? And this is, of course, what people talk about, like whiteness. Like and it's really not just white. In this culture, it's whiteness, but in every culture, there's the dominant culture. There's the dominant way of being that it just is the assumption that that's like everything else is the standard around that. And so when we're thinking in the world of race, the white standard becomes the standard and everything else sort of adapts to that. And no matter what, it's like so many people, even black and brown people, can't like get past that white standard. It's just so in your face. We're so socialized to have it be part of it that you just don't get beyond it. And so I haven't heard anything in here that's in any way outside the box. And so like what this class is having those aha moments to say, what is outside the box? Like, what am I not seeing? Like, what could I see that I'm not seeing? And because everyone...
Wait, Sammy, can we just get some... I think maybe just start... First of all, does anybody have a response to what's missing? In terms of beauty, there's something that says, oh, we've covered all of the skin colors here. Like, just let's be explicit, right? So there's beauty. What is missing? Because I think there's a bunch of things missing.
Yeah.
Do you have something? One of you. You have something?
Guess I don't really see any masculinity represented in particular. I guess that pops out because I guess that's kind of where I fall. Yeah.
Also, what about hair? Everyone has hair. I mean, you know, seriously. I want to know, like, wrinkles. Like, where are the beautiful wrinkles? What else?
Yeah.
Thank you, by the
Yeah,
way.
yeah, right here.
What else is missing? Oh, you have something?
I feel one, like he said, they're all women, but I also feel all these women have the same features.
Okay.
And they're all like today's beauty standards. Like from what I see the thick eyebrows, the pinkish, reddish lipstick. Like you don't see any imperfections. And like, at least to me, I think like a lot of like imperfections are really beautiful in people. And you also see that they're all wearing the same thing. Like they don't really get to express their own individuality or
Okay.
styles or culture throughout this photo. So to me, like this photo, yes, they're all very pretty, but they're not like beautiful because it's just fake.
It's, I just see white teeth, that's all I see, but whatever. Annalise, right? Look, you identify as bi. Like, what do you see that, what do you see that maybe somebody else doesn't see?
Like, do you mean like what I think is like missing?
Yeah, what's missing?
Yeah, what's missing? What isn't represented in terms of how you see beauty or what you identify as beauty for yourself?
I mean, like she said, like I feel like imperfections and like flaws that each person has is like beauty in itself, and they're all kind of like really clear skin. They all have really dark hair.
So wait, here's what we, don't worry about that so much. My hypothesis is that depending on the communities that we're from or that we're part of, we see things that we consider beautiful while we may be affected by a standard that is, you know, larger than all of us, that there may be some things that you could show us of what you, as a Korean person, a person who grew up in Korea, are surrounded by a particular community of people, a non-binary person. Where is beauty to you that the world isn't seeing or accounting for in this way? Where is that beauty? What does it look like? How do you identify someone that you're like, beautiful?
Oh.
Don't forget about that.
Oh, I was giving the missing part, but okay, cool.
But
So like for me, like my peak beauty standards is androgyny.
Okay, let's talk about that.
So like,
What is an androgynous type of beauty? What does that look like?
like you're not fitting into any boxes. Like you're just expressing yourself. You're being yourself. Like you don't have to worry about other people's standards. Like you do what you want to do. Like, but androgyny for me is like you just can't tell what their gender is.
So like a person like me, you would see me and you'd be like, because I look more feminine. You'd be like, yeah, feminine, but I'm not gender bending, so you're not going to find as much beauty. It's fine, you're not offending me. You're not going to find as much beauty in my self-presentation because you're looking for something that I can't tell exactly the gender, or maybe I see both or all.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Interesting. That is definitely unique. What about you? Were you going to add to that? Go ahead.
So personally, I think, like I said, like personal identity, like they all look the same. So I mean,
So don't
like
worry about that.
yeah.
Just talk about, like, you're looking at humans in your life, you're walking down through the world, and someone strikes you as beautiful. What does that person look like, typically, for you?
For me, I look at the eyes a lot. Like, you know, eyes are really important, and I especially look at, like, I don't know how to say, like, deep eyes,
Deep eyes.
like someone who has like really focused eyes.
So look at the eyes right here. Are there any of
No, I mean, like
No,
anyone
seriously.
can have it. Like everyone has it. Like it's
Okay,
just
so
like
it doesn't matter the shape, the color,
yeah.
Yeah,
the
bro.
size.
No,
doesn't
hang on,
matter,
though.
but- Okay.
Bro, look at Aditya's eye. Can you do a close-up of Aditya's eyes? Hang on. Oh, hang on.
The light is not very good.
Yeah, hang on. Aditya, can you stand up? Maybe we'll get you in the light differently. All right, hang on. Oh, no, I don't think we can. All right, anyway, bro, Jake, look at his eyes. Like, stand up and look in his eyes. Tell us what you see.
They, them pronouns.
Look at
Their eyes.
Yep. Hey, by the way, in fairness, you didn't say you use pronouns. Okay. Awesome, man.
Okay. So wait, what are we?
Look at
So
look at
to
look
you.
at their eyes.
Just the eyes. That's it.
How I think about.
Yeah, like just yes. Is
Like-
this the kind of eyes that are beautiful?
So okay, let me show you an example. Okay.
Okay.
Can you like, when you wake up, like how do you make your eyes? Like you naturally don't put any like. Okay, focus in here. Focus here, and like really focus it. Like really focus it. And when you when anyone like focus on something really hard, like then the eye shape becomes.
Wait,
No, go ahead.
So I'm saying like anyone could have it. Like
wait, but you're trying to get him to focus on something so
Yeah,
that you can just
and-
see his eyes.
yeah.
So like he wants you to look right here.
Like really
just like look at
focus.
my hand. That did I say he? That's so. He wants you to
Okay.
focus.
They.
He say? He wants you to focus on my hand, so that while you're looking at my hand, he can see what your eyes look like. You see it?
Yeah, like.
Okay.
So,
Okay. So now, okay, we've done that. Now
Yeah.
what? What do you think? What do you see?
like. It's like. I don't know how to say it. Like really, like it's like.
I like this though. I think it's so cool that you're taking the risk to do this. Really, isn't it cool that you're that he? Okay, so but I'm gonna. So what is it? What did you see?
All right.
Okay, if you were just walking, let me just ask you this. Wait, do you have it?
Okay. Then I can show you like, can I give you like other example like.
Okay.
So if when the person is more focused, I think the like eye shape, like especially like here becomes more like angled,
Okay.
and that's the one that I'm looking for.
Wow, this is
Or-
very specific for
Yeah,
you.
like really
Okay.
like
Okay, no, I appreciate.
maybe like do you know like maybe Tom Cruise, like his eyes also like kind of
Tom Cruise.
like
Okay.
focused eyes, you know.
So wait. So
that's what I'm looking for. Like,
Okay,
it's just
okay,
me, not like.
okay.
wait,
Yeah.
so not the eyes with the epicanthic eye fold, which would be like your eyes.
Probably.
You have the epicanthic eye fold, right?
Yeah.
Can you just turn around? Can you get his eyes? Can you put yellow on? So you see, oh yeah, look up a little bit. Look up. Yeah, right there. So you see the epicanthic eye, can I do this?
Yeah,
I won't poke you in the eye, dude. So the epicanthic eye fold is this fold right here in the corner, which I'll show you pulls the lid down a little bit and doesn't have a fold, whereas Aditya has, okay, hang on, right here. You see? Are you cool? Are we good? Yeah. All right. So he has, see this fold right in the corner of the eye, which doesn't pull the lid down, which so Jake has the sort of classic Asian eye, even though Aditya is Asian, he's South Asian, and so it's this different eye. South Asian? They're South Asian. Yep. Okay. Go ahead, Laurie Lynn.
By the way, on the pronouns, does anybody know how many people know Jeremy Marsh? He's like TikTok famous. Anybody? Oh my goodness. He's a non-binary human, and he spends so much time training the rest of the world to use they and them. And he's so compassionate. It's like, I know this is hard, but we can do it. So I'm thinking of this every time we don't say they and them. I'm thinking of Jeremy Marsh. Check him out. Check them out. They are so awesome and compassionate. So anyway, this is Debbie, by the way, who I mentioned earlier. And we're going to add her to this conversation. But you want to finish something up first?
Yeah, so I guess I want to go with, so you're talking about it. So where do you think
Wait,
you...
can I just interrupt you for a second? Okay, so let me just say something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, can I say something first?
No.
No, I want to say something
Okay,
to
okay,
the
okay.
class.
All right, go ahead.
Hey, listen, I want to say the following. Like, I recognize if Laurie and I were sitting in this class together, there'd be things we'd be saying back and forth to each other because I couldn't not want to say something, right? But what you need to know is when different pairs of people are whispering to each other, it gets really loud down here. Am I right?
Yeah.
Like it's really loud down here. So it's incredibly distracting. So I understand why you do. I would do it too, but just please don't, because it's really distracting. We're holding this down here, and yes, please do. And then I have a question for Jake.
I think, like we said in the beginning, we, just like with other issues that you talk about, race, gender, sexuality, class, they have an impact, and it's mostly felt by people who are not in whatever the majority is, or whatever the sociologists like to say, whoever the dominant group is, or whoever's in the mainstream. It's not as noticeable. But there's often a spectrum of experience, right? And so it's very obvious when we talk about sexuality, right? There's a spectrum. Not everybody is on one or the other end. And so beauty, we're suggesting, is another hidden spectrum that accords power, influence, money even, advantage to people who are in one part of the spectrum and not to people who are in the other part of the spectrum. We're trying to define what is that spectrum, because there is a dominant culture that has defined beauty, but is it everybody's beauty? We don't know. We're trying to figure that out. So that's why we're trying to hear personally, what do people find beautiful, and also how similar and different is that? So far we're hearing a lot of similarity, and it sounds like a standard that many people critique as white or Western. I'm not sure that we've gotten anything else. Yes, that we're trying to get to hear other things. But Debbie, do you want to add anything right there about what you're hearing? Or why you think this is important?
I'll tell you why it's important. I think really similar to what you said, we make choices so often based off beauty, and we just don't realize it. And sometimes it's more explicit than others. When I was like 13, my mom sat me down and she was like, just randomly, she was like, I'm gonna tell you something. You're not pretty. And then she paused and she's like, but you're not ugly either. She's like, you're very average, and I'll tell you what that means. She was like, this is what it means. It means you won't grow up to be pretentious because people won't give you everything, but you also won't have super low confidence because you're not ugly. And then she just left me like that. I was like 13. I was like, what am I supposed to do with this? And as I grew up, I don't know if it's because I internalized what she said, but I felt it, like how people treated me. It was like, you're not treated very well like the prettier friends, but also I don't feel that bad about myself because sometimes I get compliments. So it's just like, it just made me walk through the world and realize how people treat each other based off of it in like a really weird way, and it just stuck with me. So I think it's really important to talk about.
So for
That's an
me,
amazing story.
that's actually really pretty profound.
Did anyone else have a mom or a parent or a caretaker who actually just laid it out for them like that? Just like that? I've never heard that before. That's amazing. You did?
It's not exactly like that, but like, so I'm not gonna try to like toot my own horn. I don't think I'm ugly, but like, in my opinion, like my mom's one of the prettiest people like ever. Like she's she's very conventionally attractive. Like she's like small, skinny, like petite. She's like got like a tanner skin tone than I do. Like she has prettier eyes than I do. She's like has hazel eyes, and then she has like really like awesome curly hair. She has like the tight curls that like everyone wants, and like they're super silky and whatever. And people always go like, oh my God, you look just like your mom. Like you're gonna look like your mom when you're older. And then I tell my mom this, and she goes, oh my God, that's horrible. Like, no, you don't wanna look like me. Like, oh my gosh, no. Like, and then she'll call herself like ugly all the time. And in my head, I'm like, are you calling me ugly? I'm like, I look just like you. So
how is it that we're all, how is it that we're all being fed like these? It's like these stories that aren't true. Even like what's ugly. Like we're talking about
So-
beauty, but we could have done the whole class on what is ugly. Like, and I mean, it's just, God, it's just so striking to me that we would never talk about any of this stuff with race. Like it would be off limits, but somehow in this world we can.
But we used to.
We used to.
And, I mean, and some people still do, but the point is, but what about, what if we actually brought this this spectrum of beauty to ugly, and we actually started talking about it like it mattered, like Debbie is saying, and like actually a lot of research talks about how much what you look like matters. In fact, I feel like all of TikTok, its only purpose is to address this issue. I don't know, do you see that? Yeah, what do you see specifically? When you said, yeah, TikTok. Oh no, say whatever you were going to say.
Your question is what I see on TikTok. It's just TikTok is basically thirst traps. For my For You page, like just a lot of conventionally attractive people, straight nose, well built, like that. That is all. And then if someone like who's like non-conventionally attractive posts something and puts like a caption of like, I feel very ugly, and then a lot of people comment like in a pretentious way, like, oh no, you're not, like, no, it's like, you're good. So like, you understand, like, TikTok is trying to like push a more of a conventionally attractive thing.
But what they just said, but TikTok also has the whole realm of people who are conventionally extremely unattractive, who their shtick on TikTok is, maybe it's like the physical deformity or something. Their shtick on TikTok is, I'm attractive even though the whole world knows I'm not attractive, but I am, and that's the stick. And so it's almost like you either follow the line or you have to be so far outside of it and then mock all of that other stuff. But most of us are all in the average. We're all here. And yet somehow we're wrestling with that.
I want to, go ahead, you're going to say something, and then I want to hear from
I want to
Jasmine.
add something. I feel you're limiting beauty in such a way. I feel that every person might find another person attractive or not, depending on their own taste. If I bring a model and ask 100 people, I'm sure 10 or 5 will say that they don't see that person as attractive. So I feel where we come from and the people we see and the different tastes we have, that all depends, and we can't limit beauty just on physical features, because we've just been talking about like face and hair and things like that, and I feel like beauty is way more than that.
Yeah.
So, so speaking as a Saudi, right? As a person from Saudi Arabian culture, where do you think where's your vision come from? Where'd you get it?
By defining beauty.
Yep. Like what is and is not beautiful. Where'd you get that from?
Can you repeat that?
Can I ask it differently? So I don't think there are any, well, no, there might be an Arab woman in there. But what is it?
That
what
wasn't
is
my
beauty?
point, because when I look at this
ahead.
picture, well, all I see is just like beautiful women, and I think that there's way more things we can include other than just beautiful women when we say beauty.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't feel that that's fair.
Exactly.
I feel like we're missing a lot of things when we talk
like,
about
tell
beauty
us what
looking
they are.
at this picture.
For Saudi, give us like someone from Saudi that you find beautiful that you don't see there.
Well, I'm not just talking about a person or a specific girl that's from Saudi.
No,
that
a
I would
quality. I'm asking about a quality.
About a quality? Well, for me, I define inner beauty. So when I look at...
No, go with outer. We're just...
Outer beauty, okay.
Yeah. We all know inner beauty. I actually have a question here about inner beauty.
Okay.
But we didn't get even close to the other stuff yet. So you're like, this is BS. Like, there's more things that are beautiful. Exactly. So tell us, give us a different vision that isn't blue eyes, straight hair, even though I know your mom with curly hair, silky hair, whatever. Whatever it is, what is it? What does it look like? Another part of beauty.
As a person-wise, are you talking about like as a person-wise?
I don't understand what you said.
So do you want me to describe a beauty as I see in a woman?
Yeah.
In
Or
Saudis?
if it's, yeah.
Okay. Well, for me, I'd like her to have like a straight hair, more like a dark eyes for my future wife.
Okay.
Yeah, no, blue eyes, that wouldn't work.
I see the distinction.
But Yeah, just a beautiful smile. I feel
Beautiful
that the most
smile,
important
okay.
thing is
You-
the beautiful smile.
You know, okay, can I just say something, bro?
Coming back to you, okay.
I just want I gotta say this. You said, you looked at this photo and you're like, well, I see they're all beautiful women. I'm like, no, they're not. Like, they're not at all. Like, this is where we're all trapped in this world of social constructions. There's nothing about them that's beautiful other than the fact that people agree on the fact that we've consumed images so much in our lives that we agree on the quote unquote social fact that they're all beautiful when all it is just agreement. Like, there's nothing beautiful about them at all other than the agreement that we have. And so then everybody else is just measuring who they are and who their friends are according to these images that we all just sort of agree that there's no need to agree. And then we turn around and we all want to proclaim that we're free. Oh no, I come up with my own version of beauty. The fuck you do, right? You come up with the same vision of beauty as everybody else. And when you look in a mirror, we measure ourselves according to all those images that we've been consuming since day one, right? Way before Debbie and her mom had that conversation on the sofa. And so what we want to try to do is get outside of that. So like for Jake, I would ask, I would say, hey, Aditya, when you said, no, their eyes are like, okay, but I'm really attracted to this other kind of eye. It's like, well, where'd you get that from? Like, where's that from? Because like in Korea, the number of people who have eye surgery, it's upwards to 35 or 40% of people of a certain age who have eye surgery to get rid of that epicanthic eye fold so they have more of a Western eye. Like, what the hell is that? You know what I mean? So anyway, so I would ask you, like, well, where'd you get that? Where did you get that from? Like, and maybe, I don't know what the answer is because each person is different, but I would ask that.
First of all, it's just me. It's not like Korea, like I'm not trying to like. It's just me, all right. It's not. I'm not trying to represent like how Korean thinks, but like, for me, like focused eye is really, really, really important because when I grew up, I think I have to say something about like my lifestyle. So, I prefer a lifestyle with a living with like really deep focus. Like every time you do something, like you're always aware of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So usually that can be represented by their eyes. And someone who has like those kind of people, I think, has like really like straight like focused eye. Like yeah. So that is the one that's the reason why I think I prefer those eyes. Yeah.
I want to hear from you, Jasmine. What is not being
I heard you, by the way. Okay.
What is not being said? What are you hearing? Or what do you
Yeah.
see differently?
So I, just to backtrack a little bit, my parents always hype me up. And I feel like it's just because of like the environment that I grew up in. I went to a predominantly white private college prep school my entire life. So I was the only black person, period, until like high school. So even though they really, tried to instill in me that I was beautiful no matter what, just being surrounded by white people all day, basically every day, really tainted my own self-image and like what was beautiful to me. Once I reached like middle school, I started straightening my hair every day and stuff, and I would bring like a flat iron literally to school if I didn't think my hair was bone straight enough. Always wanted to be able to like flip my hair and like have a ponytail and do like all of that stuff and like run my fingers like through my hair and everything. And so until I'm 22, so whenever I was 20, that's when I stopped straightening my hair. I do it occasionally, but that's when I really started to wear it natural, and I think I really had to confront myself and literally untrain myself of thinking with like a Eurocentric ideology and really kind of shift my mindset. And it's not, like I still am working on that as well. Like I still really do kind of fall in sometimes into thinking that like for special occasions I have to straighten my hair or something like that. And I feel like now like my like how I see beauty is like definitely more broad. Like I can appreciate, you know, white people, but I also have a newfound appreciation. And since like being able to see the beauty in people with curly hair, whether it's like type 4C or like 3A or like whatever, and even seeing that within myself, like doing protective styling and everything, like just like kind of like really having to work hard as a Black woman growing up in that kind of environment to get those kinds of thoughts out of my mind and really understand that beauty isn't what I was just seeing every day. So
I just like how you gave that example of just like, this is what I'm seeing every day. And then I look at myself and I don't see the same thing. So I can't even be part of this version of whatever, beauty, we'll call it.
I think even with men, again, like I really kind of idealized white men. And then as I kind of like rediscovered beauty like for myself, I started finding the beauty in Black men as well, and realizing that like I don't, because again, like that was all my dating pool was. So like being able to recognize that like, you know, Black men are beautiful as well and like are attractive as well and stuff.
Can you tell us one thing you saw? What did you see in Black men that shifted?
That you weren't able to see before.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think even as far like skin tone, like not like idealizing like a lighter skin tone, like appreciating darker skin tones, and even hair like dreads and stuff like that. So yeah.
You know when you were talking, what's interesting to me as a person is, because you were giving that example of like, what happened? Joy. What are we missing, Joy? Oh. Did you know what the thought is? Okay. Oh. Okay. Well, I may just come back to you, though. Let me know. Oh. By the way, next week when you're in your discussion groups and your dialogues, it's going to be about this topic. So it'll be really nice for you all to have the opportunity to say things that you're not saying now. But your example about being in this space and just seeing all of these faces reflected back to you, and then there's a certain standard. Well, what it made me think of is, I tell this to Sam all the time, like I'm around people who are 20 all the time, and I go into the bathroom and I see my face and I'm like, oh, what is that? That's not what I thought I looked like. And that is really interesting because I'm not seeing reflected back to me faces that look like mine, so I have nothing to compare who I am to, right? And at the same time, I just see beauty, this utter beauty in every single face that is in their 20s. I will just say that to you because it's like, oh my God, look at I can go to all the things, but like their skin and their hair and their nose and their eyes, and oh, I know that person doesn't think they're attractive, but look at how perfect their face is, right? So it's from a different demographic. You have a different view of yourself, obviously, and the people around you. And I think Sam is beautiful, not because he's my husband, but because there's a different beauty standard that has come into focus, right? So there's so many ways to see when you're standing in different places, and that's what we're actually trying to see, what people see, as opposed to what we've been told to see as beautiful.
And by the way, I don't think Laurie's beautiful. Like, I think Laurie's perfect. She's just her. I don't go on to the standard of what is and isn't beautiful. Like how many times have I ever I told you once I thought you were beautiful, didn't I? Like we were in Spain.
I think there was one time.
One time we were in Spain, and you got your hair cut.
Oh yeah.
And remember that? And I'm like, oh my God, you're beautiful. I didn't even know it. I didn't realize it, right? But I don't live in that world. So wait.
We all live in the world, though.
Yeah, but you know, I was hatched from an egg in a way,
true.
right? So, but I want to say something about what you just said. You said, like, as a Black woman in this culture, and I think, well, you have an advantage in this world. People who are minoritized in some way, you actually have an advantage when you are sort of up against the dominant culture for standards, because you can more quickly see it. What I would argue is people in the dominant group, white people, and especially because of the oppression of all of this topic, white women in particular, it's more hidden from them. So they don't have the kind of opportunity that you had to actually have to confront this straight up. And so people think that, we're free of it or whatever the case is, and that's not. By the way, I want to ask Annalise. I don't know if Debbie has something. Okay, I have something. I want to go to Annalise on something.
As an observer, it's so interesting to be in this class because it is so difficult to talk about this. Just as I'm listening to all you talk and react, also just like your faces, I'm looking at you and you look uncomfortable. And even if you don't maybe consciously feel that, and the things that we're saying, it's almost like pulling something out of us that we're not used to talking about, which is amazing. And I didn't know we were going to talk about beauty in our next dialogues. So I would really, maybe in this week coming up, I just want you all to notice. So just like as you're walking every day, just like notice whatever you see and you think, oh, beautiful. Oh, not beautiful. And I wonder what you can share in your dialogues. I think that'd be really interesting. Yeah.
So one more thing before you, and this is also what you have said is the reason that Debbie has been so passionate about wanting to talk about this, because it's so powerful and we don't talk about it. And so what you're seeing, I think what you're saying is it's kind of like we don't really know what we're supposed to talk about right now because it's so uncharted. So go ahead, Sam.
Hey, so Annalise, so as a woman who's bi, could you bifurcate yourself, bifurcate your mind, go to the side of you that looks at the male form and the female form, right? And we won't go into the androgynous form because I'm assuming, so what they said earlier about being attracted to androgyny, right? So if you bifurcate your mind, what do you see that? You have a unique opportunity because you're saying, yeah, I'm attracted to men and women, right? I'm dating a woman now, but whatever. What do you see? What can you tell us about this that maybe the rest of us don't see? Because, by the way, I think everyone's bi. Everyone would be attracted to somebody of the same sex, for sure. I mean, everyone has a little bit of bi in us, but nonetheless, go ahead. Can you say something about that?
Yeah, I mean, because to me, the reason why I am bi is because I am more attracted to the person themselves, and that they create beauty just by being themselves. So certain things that other people that they do you wouldn't find attractive or pretty or something, I would think I find that attractive because that's what makes that person. But I feel with girls and guys, you do look at it a little differently, just because with girls, it depends on, again, what type of girl you're looking at, but I guess you could say you're looking more at a feminine type of person that's a little bit more feminine. If you're looking towards a guy, you're going to be looking at more masculine features. So not necessarily you would be looking at, I guess I would be looking at the smile and the eyes as well, but you're also looking at more of their body more so. Same with a woman, but you're more looking at their upper half. With girls, you're looking at their upper half and their lower half. It's just, you kind of look at them differently.
Okay, so what I'm hearing you say is that you maintain this so-called masculine form and the feminine form, and you separate them, and you can be attracted to one or the other. But mostly they're separated for you. You don't bring them all together.
They're separated, but I also think that men can be feminine without it being toxic. I don't believe in toxic masculinity. I think that's a thing, but I think that men can be feminine and women can be masculine.
Okay, so go to Aditya. Would you be attracted to them?
If a guy was feminine?
Aditya, right next to you.
Yeah. Personally, I'm not necessarily attracted to them, but again, I don't also know them, so I have it's a completely different. Because, for example, with my girlfriend, we were friends for 2 months. I didn't even neither of us even looked at each other in that way. And then when she had told me that she was when she was bi, like kind of like was an instant, like we both looked at each other differently. So like I do think it has for me a lot to do with like your personality, just because I can look at a guy and maybe not think they're attractive for their looks, but if I do get like to talk to them, like I can look at you differently, because you can be someone that's like the most attractive person ever, but like if you have a bad personality, like you're automatically not really attractive to me.
Okay.
Sam, I know you asked the attraction question, so
Yeah, I
it's fine.
probably took us.
No, it's fine. It's sometimes it's hard to separate, so it's fine.
Yeah.
But so I'm not. This isn't a critique of you, Annalise. But I also, and like Debbie is saying, just kind of paying attention to what we think about or when we notice in other people, like not just people that you would think, oh, could I be attracted to this person? But like, what do we do when you see? What do you do when you see someone who's ugly? Right, ugly to you,
Or how do you,
just not be, and you don't know them. You don't see that they're a great person and they have a good personality and all those things that we say. But literally, you would put that person in the category of ugly. And what's wrong with that? Like, that's another question. Like, is that the most terrible thing, is to be ugly? It somehow seems like it is, because we can't even say it, right? Like, it seems like, oh, that's ridiculous. Why should you even talk about it? But what does that tell us about how powerfully this is in operation? Right?
well, so for me, though, what it tells me is to even use those words, right? To even like think about being beautiful or being, to even use the words, to me means in some way that like I can't see it. So you tell me, anyone could disagree with me, but I feel like to even use those words, our minds are colonized by ideas outside of us. And so it's like...
Can I ask Debbie what she thinks about that?
Yeah, Debbie, what do you
agree
think?
or disagree with him? He's like, even to use those words is...
Like,
Okay, Sam, I have an example of something. I don't know if it's going to click anything with what you're saying. Growing up, my mom's dad would tell her what she looked like, and it was not pleasing. He said, you look like a dog, you look like this, you look like that. And so she had like really bad self-image. She looks very normal, by the way. And then the other day I was scrolling through old pictures, and this is like 20 plus years of her always like telling me that what she thought she looked like was horrible. And I was like scrolling through old photos trying to find something. And I found an old photo of my mom. And it was just like an initial reaction when I looked at her. And I was surprised because I thought she looked really pretty in that random photo that I took of her. I was like, why am I surprised to find that my mom is beautiful? Because I consciously always knew that. And I was like, subconsciously, did I just like internalize what she said about herself? Just her saying like, my skin is this way, my eyes are this way, my hair is this way, I am this way. And then me being subconsciously like, okay. And then when I'm alone years later and I look at her, I'm like, why is my initial reaction that she's beautiful? What is this? And it just like, I don't know, something in me felt really uncomfortable. I was like, did I not have control of my own like perception of my mother? That was kind of weird.
no, but you didn't. You don't have control over any of it, nor does anybody else. And yet, my problem is the reason I teach this class is because we think we even have control over all of our thoughts and all of our ideas, and we have control over none of it. And yet, we've lost it. We're colonized by other people's visions, which just sucks.
Can we hear from a white, straight human? I don't know if you're white, if you're straight, but you spoke. but a white, straight man who could just weigh in on this conversation about beauty and like where you fit into that. Because can somebody, just anything that you're seeing, hearing, but where you fit from that demographic. You all are really close to me, so. Is there someone over here?
Anybody?
Do you want to say something? Hang on. You're not a white straight man.
Laurie, what's your specific question?
I just want to hear, I never hear us saying anything about white straight men when it comes to beauty, and I just thought we could hear from, like, what are they hearing? Was that?
All right, hang on.
Oh,
right
man.
Here.
Oh, see, come on. Come on.
Sit right here.
Nobody here besides this
Yeah, right
courageous
here,
human?
Laurie.
Okay, wait, hang on.
So, do you want to hear about how I perceive beauty or where I fall? I guess I was thinking earlier, when Sam said, you know, is it the worst thing in the world to be ugly? And I think it's not, but it is hard. I think that you get treated differently when you're, you know, considered less ugly, or I guess less beautiful. And like in sophomore year of high school, like one day I stepped on the scale and was like, don't like that. So I, over the next couple months, lost like 40 pounds. And it wasn't night and day, but there was a noticeable difference in how I was treated by people. I think I got more attention, more friendliness. People's attitudes toward me were just a lot kinder and a lot nicer. And I think that, you know, living every day without getting any sort of validation to your appearance can be pretty brutal because, you know, you can see with this is a little rough. I did get compared to the Hot Wings guy, Sean Evans. That was cool. But like, in general, I don't think I fully fit, you know, a standard of beauty right now. And, you know, having been on, I don't want to say both sides. I haven't been fully beautiful, I don't think, but a little more attractive and maybe a little less attractive. It does make a difference, I think, in your everyday life.
Bro,
Thank you for
hang on,
sharing that.
Laurie, back here. But for what it's worth, bro, you're absolutely gorgeous, my friend.
You're perfect.
And you're absolutely ugly at the same time. No, hang on. But you all heard me say, and you're absolutely ugly. You see what I mean? That's the key. Like, all right, bro.
I don't know. I just want to say that, like, you got to look at it from, like, a psychology standpoint. Like, we've established that beauty is, like, deeper than just physical appearance, but I feel like the majority of people find that, like, symmetry in a face is, like, beautiful or something. Or you mentioned TikTok, why all these people are so famous. It's because, like, the majority of people who are on that app are finding, or, like, the millions of people that follow them are beautiful. So if you look at it, like, from that standpoint, just a psychology standpoint, that, like, there's certain features that, to, like, a brain, it's more attractive to the majority of the people. There's always outliers. I just want to say that.
Yeah, well, we've all bought an idea, right? Yeah, so I hear what you're saying. Yeah, we bought an idea. Hey, can I, we have one more. Does anyone up in the front want us? Hey, Aditya, you get the last word. Thanks, bro, I appreciate that. Aditya gets the last word. You're on.
Yeah, so like, when we said like, what do you think about beauty? I feel like,
wait, can we just
wait.
Hang on.
We have 1 minute.
He just gets the last word, so we have to listen.
Like, the beauty standards are like very fixed and like very much in the box. Like, men can only be handsome and women are only beautiful. And then there's this one word like pretty. So like recently on TikTok there was a trend like female girls called their male friends pretty, and that felt really good to them. So like I feel like we've like put beauty standards into like boxes, like men are only handsome, women are only beautiful, but like it shouldn't be that way. Like, you can be anything you want. Like, you don't have to bifurcate between being handsome or being beautiful.
That's actually one of the questions that we wanted to ask, but we'll leave you with it, which is how do we influence what is decided to be beautiful or not, right? If we've socially constructed it, how could we reconstruct it to include all of these things?
Hey,
so thank you,
thanks
everybody. Thank you so much, Debbie.